See, if we are followers of Jesus and we are trying to live the life and to perform the works and the deeds and the actions that Jesus himself performs, if we are trying to be the heart of the master in today's world, then we have to agree that that is going to tick off some people. That love, unconditional love, is not always accepted, and many, many times is more often rejected. And if we try to open our hearts to the refugee or to the immigrant or to someone who is gay or homosexual, or the list goes on and on, the more we as Christians do these things which we believe Jesus would do, the more and more we do these things, the world itself is going to turn against us. Because the world wants us to have people boxed into their own little places. The world wants to be able to isolate some from another. The world wants to be able to say who is good and who is bad, and to damn them as much as they can. I've preached about this before, how we have become very comfortable putting people into boxes and giving them names and titles and keeping them there without any openness to try to even understand, because now the lines are drawn and we are hiding behind these divisions. But yet for us as Christians to be this Christ-like person in today's age requires us to love beyond all reason. It requires us to love beyond even all religious tradition. It means for us to be like Jesus. And if that is the case, then you're talking about an unconditional, loving, caring, compassionate, merciful, embracing person of all types, of all people. And look what happened to him for that. His words, his actions caused no one any harm in any way. His teachings were something that you would think any civilized society would want to have as part of its premise. But what is it? When you start talking about a God of love and compassion, and if you start breaking down all the barriers and the buildings and the temples that we have built up, and you end up standing alone with the God of love, trying to emanate that love to the rest of the world, other people become terribly fearful of what it is that you're talking about. Please don't take away our structures. Please don't take away our security of the institutions. Please don't challenge us, to be more loving, because I'm very comfortable here. And by the way, I'm not really open to accepting those people into my world. And yet at the same time, none of that is Christ-like, and somehow has become part and parcel of what we, even as Christians, believe is acceptable or appropriate, or even worse, necessary. And so when we choose to become disciples of Christ, to emanate love as Jesus did, our families might turn against us. We will be dragged before courts and governors and kings, and we will be asked to account for ourselves. When we do everything that we are supposed to be doing and are doing it well, there will be people who will point out and turn up and go against us for no reason whatsoever. And yet, in the midst of all that, what does Jesus say? Don't prepare yourself. Don't get worried. Don't get anxious that you have to prepare what it is you need to say. When you stand there, what's the words? I myself will instruct you on what it is you are to say. I myself. And I don't know about you, but when you hear those words, they're written for us as much as they were for the disciples and the first Christians. They're written for us. The thought that in the midst of our earthquakes and storms, that Jesus himself is walking us through, that Jesus himself is instructing us, that there is no fear because the Lord of all is standing right by us. And we don't have to worry about what we're to say or how we're to defend ourselves, because Jesus himself is instructing us is an powerful image for us to reflect upon. That in the midst of our life, if we so choose, we can accept the words of Jesus as being absolutely true for me, and that right now, yesterday, tomorrow, at every single point and given turn, Jesus is specifically with me to guide me, direct me, and to give me the words that are required to defend myself when I am trying to live as Jesus would instruct and direct and imitate for us to follow. That we should not be afraid of doing the right thing, because in the end, it is Jesus himself who is guiding us and telling us specifically what to say. That is a powerful image, but it talks about what? The very essence of the Gospels, the very essence of the early church that I think we sort of lose in the process. What is it? It is the fact that they recognized completely that their relationship was real in this resurrected Jesus. And no matter what happened to them in this world, did not matter, because why? Jesus was there with them. His spirit was always there. His presence was always there. And yet we think that it is more about doing things that get us somehow an audience with God, that somehow by attending church or by performing certain rituals or acts, that constitutes a relationship with God, that constitutes this presence that Jesus talks about. And I'll take you back to what he says. This temple will be all torn down. And when it is, don't be disturbed, because God's not contained within the building. God is contained here inside of you. Can we reflect just for a moment what our lives would be like, what the world would be like, if we accepted the fact that God loves us so much and that God resides here, and then we respond to that love by constant acts of love, kindness, and generosity. If every Christian was to do that on the face of the globe, what would our world look like? What is stopping us from doing that? Besides, one, we're afraid, or two, maybe we've never experienced this Jesus in the first place. God bless you. Hi, just wanted to thank you so much for watching the video. We hope that what you're coming away with is inspirational and a guide for your life. We're really glad you could be part of our community. Please be sure to like and subscribe to this channel so that you can be continually updated with our new music videos, our new sermons, our new services that are published, so that you could stay connected with us. Thanks so much again. God bless you.